Starting out, we're going to be looking at this 2017 Buick Encore. Starting at the exhaust, we go from the header to the first cat, to the flex pipe, to the second cat, the first muffler, down the exhaust tube, into the secondary muffler, and finally out the tailpipe. The vehicle has two catalytic converters. This is the primary that connects to the outlet flange of the turbo. Secondary cat slightly further down the exhaust after the flex pipe. Both of these are classified as warm-up three-way catalytic converters. Taking a look at the oxygen sensor locations, we have O2S11 here before the cat 1 and O2S12 after the first cat, leaving the second cat unmonitored. Jumping into the tests, clarify that due to the heat shield, we'll be testing the pre-cat 1 temperature through the opening above the heat shield at the header. Look at the results from our 10-minute idle temperature test. Ambient temp starting was about 70 degrees for both cats. Minute 1, we noticed that cat 1 inlet and outlet have a large difference. Inlet is much hotter at 176 than the outlet at 86, about a 100-degree difference. Cat 2 has less of a difference, actually hotter on the outlet by a few degrees. Going down to the 5-minute mark, we're at 285 in the inlet, 136 at the outlet, about 50-degree difference, hotter at the inlet of cat 1, whereas cat 2 is a much smaller difference, about 5 degrees, 108 going in, 103 coming out. Down to minute 10, 294 and 194 for the inlet and outlet of cat 1, about a 100-degree difference, colder coming out. And cat 2, 122 going in, 106 coming out, only about roughly 20-degree difference. Moving on to look at our 5 minutes at 2500 RPM test. Cat number 1 starting out 247, 183 out. We still notice that's colder coming out for both the cats, all the way down to the end. Ending, we have 454 in, 280 out on cat 1. This indicates that we never hit our light off temperature, thus we never had a hotter temperature exiting in the cat than we did coming into the cat. Taking a look at now the temperature by foot at idle. Foot 0, 348 degrees at the exhaust manifold. This is our hottest temperature. Foot 1 is the outlet of cat number 1, 275, still considerably hot. Foot 2, 198. Foot 3, we increase in temperature, still just in pipe. Foot 4, decrease in temperature. This is the inlet to cat 2. Continues to decrease until foot 8. We increase about 10 degrees from the previous foot, and that is just in bare pipe. Continues to decrease and then finally increase again at foot 10 at the inlet to the muffler, and then gradually decreases to 91 degrees, the coldest temperature at the tailpipe. Next tests, we moved on to a 2007 Buick Lucerne with a 3.8 liter. This car has a single three-way catalytic converter.
And you can see my partner here, he has his propane hooked up to the intake here, and we're gonna just shoot some in there and monitor what our cat temperature reading here says. So I'll have him do that now. So when my partner pushes the button to add propane, our short-term fuel trim is changing, but we don't have much of a cat temperature reading change. It's mostly just stayed around 1060 roughly, 1050 area.
You can see on the left, nearing the beginning of the propane test, our short-term and long-term fuel trims began to decline, while our cat temp PID was around 1050, and nearing the end of the test, it rose about 14 degrees, and our fuel trims maxed out at their minimums at negative 25%. Periodic temperature readings throughout our propane testing. Our inlet has always been cooler than our outlet, maxing out at 385 in and 466 out. Not typical light off temperatures yet, but it appears that it is a light off temperature change with the increasing outlet over the inlet temperature. The conclusion questions. Question A, what is the normal inlet and outlet temps of a catalytic converter? We didn't have much luck getting these cats to light off. Even with the propane added, we still had lower temperatures. But our inlets were roughly 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and our outlet temps were above 500 in best case scenarios. How long did it take to fully heat up the converter? Like I said, we didn't have much success with fully heating them up, but we would assume over 10 minutes of normal driving. So idle will be longer, and light driving will be longer as well. The hottest location in the automotive exhaust. Once the cat is heated up, the inside and the outlet of the cat are most likely going to be the hottest locations at over 1,000 degrees. The normal temp drop of an exhaust, like we saw in our temp drop test on the first Buick, it started at the hottest point and went down to the lowest point. However, with the lid off cat, it'll add in a different step with that 1,000 degree nearing catalytic converter in the middle of the exhaust system. And that concludes it.